Like, I realized like becoming wealthy isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep and what you do with that money.
Oh
It's like
yeah, no,
it's like
that's a
a
fact.
sink, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter how much is coming out of the faucet if the drain's open. What I did before I was doing music is I actually ran an e-commerce business. So like I was
Oh,
going
okay.
to college for business at like University of Oregon, and basically I ended up like dropping out and just starting my own like private label brand. I was like sourcing like tambourines and shit from China. And then you
Yeah.
can like send all the products to like Amazon's warehouses. And then you just rank in the algorithm on, Amazon. And then when someone sees your product and buys it, like I would charge like, I would get them for like $2 and I'd charge like 15. And I make like, after like Amazon takes their 15%, I make like $7, $8. And you would just get that shit like ranked, and then I'd sell like 20 a day. Like like during Christmas at like the peak, I did like 20 grand in a month.
Oh damn,
And
that's
then
crazy.
I tried to invest that into like Facebook's and shit, but just like hiring someone, and I got burned because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Oh, you
But
hired somebody to do it?
no, I did all I for Facebook at least. All my money was made on Amazon, and then I tried to transition to it outside of Amazon because the problem, what ended up happening was like I had an issue with my manufacturer, and like I paid like $1,000 to get an inventory inspection, so like all my product would be good to go. And then when it got to Amazon, they're like, "Yeah, your defection rate is too high. It can't be over like 6%." And I was at like
Oh, okay.
8, so they just shut down all my listings, and I lost like a six-figure business overnight. And then I had to
Oh wow.
pay to get my inventory out. So it put me in like 40 grand of debt. So I went from making like 20 grand a month to making zero and being like 40 grand in debt. And I'm just like, fuck.
Damn.
And then basically I spent like the last year or so like cleaning up that mess. But like it actually kind of ended up being a blessing in disguise, just because like I realized like becoming wealthy isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep and what you do with that money.
Oh
It's like
yeah, no,
it's like
that's a
a
fact.
sink, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter how much is coming out of the faucet if the drain's open.
Yeah, no, that's facts. And usually shit like that happens. Like, there's been many times where I've been burnt, but
Yeah.
during that time, I'm like, fuck, why this happened? You know, just complaining about it. But like a year later or 2 years later, you like look back at it like, damn, I'm so glad that happened because it like got me ready for this. Or
Yeah,
like everything happens for a reason.
I read
So
this sick ass book. It's called Obstacle is the Way. I don't know if you've heard of that book. But what's interesting about that book is they talk about this concept of you take an obstacle and you reframe it as like leverage, and you figure out like how is this actually something I can leverage, and like when you do that you find ways to leverage it. And so for me, like what it really leveraged me is, first of all, the problem was is I was trying to juggle a music career and running a business, and from just trying to do music alone, that takes everything you have.
yeah,
You know what
no,
I mean? So
definitely.
like I was able to open up for some bigger artists, like I opened up for like Waka Flocka and Joyner Lucas and like Riff Raff. And like I played a festival in Cuba with this like electronic music group in front of like 6,000 people.
Oh,
So
that's
like I was
dope.
doing that all while I was like trying to run my business. But the problem was is it was like I was working like I had no balance at all. And so like I it just wasn't sustainable. I did that for
Yeah,
like a couple years, but it's like I burn out, and then I had to like fucking spend the last year like cleaning up this mess. But like I learned so much from it, and then now I'm at this point where it's like I have all that knowledge and context, and no distractions and no debt, and now I can just go all out on music, and now I'm like building that infrastructure.